What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant at For Now Marketing, and welcome to Braze for Technical Marketers. Today, let's go over what a connected content call is. Let's do a deep dive and make some successful and unsuccessful calls and see what happens. Let's get started. First of all, what is connected content? You may have heard of this feature or this term quite often if you're a Braze user. And pretty much what a Braze connected content call is that it allows you to insert any information accessible via API directly into messages you send to your users. So you can pretty much make an API call from your message body, and then you can pull content either directly from your web server or from publicly accessible APIs. So what that means is you are creating an email and you can actually pull data using connected content from your external sources and plug it into the data to personalize, to set up conditionals, and then you can do that at scale, which is a very robust feature. And what that looks like in practice is it's actually just Braze-specific liquid code that allows us to run this connected content feature. So we include this connected content call and change out some of the parts, and then we can actually make an API call to wherever destination we'd like to. Go-to free public API resource is the cat fact API. Catfact.ninja provides random cat facts just by requesting at the URL they provide here. So catfact.ninja/fact. And in fact, what you can do is you can actually just visit that link on your Chrome browser and you can see exactly which random fact we will get. A cat can travel at a top speed of approximately 31 miles per hour over a short distance. That is really cool. So let's put that in practice. Let's build some messages where we can trigger these random cats. Let's go ahead and build that email campaign. And let's go ahead and insert that connected content so we can include the random cat fact. So we will call it email get random cat fact 2025-04-17. That's today's date. Actually, I'm just going to rearrange it. And then let's just build a very simple email. So this one is going to say your random cat fact of the day. And then the cat fact itself is where connected content comes into play. So let's go back, copy and paste the syntax. By the way, what's really happening here is just some liquid tag, the word connected content underscored, the API URL where we're pulling data from, and then we just have to include to save the results, save data that we get back in a variable which they've called result, but we can actually name this variable whatever we'd like to. So we copied that. We're going to paste it here. The URL was this one right here, catfact.ninja/fact. So let's swap that out. And then let's get rid of those extra new lines. And then the variable, we want to save it in a variable name called catfact because that's very intuitive. Let's see what happens if we try to display catfact the variable. We should get random catfact. Oops, let's maybe just give it a refresh and save. Sometimes when you copy over links, there's like extra blank spaces that create issues. Let's see if that helps it. Okay, so after just a little bit of tinkering, nothing has changed, but we were able to get that cat fact successfully. I just rewrote out everything and that worked. So sometimes small fixes like that helps. Another cat fact for us, very interesting. I got to take a closer look at these later. But if you take a look at the data, we actually see all the other parts of the JSON that we're not interested in. We don't really care to see the length or the status code, at least not when it comes to a user message. So we're going to use .object.notation and just go in one layer inside to the fact data layer. If we just add .fact, that should get us there. Let's see if our cat fact is just nice and clean, and that looks great. Okay. So our email is built. Let's give it a quick subject line. And then while we're doing that, your random cat fact of the day. What we've done is we've actually built part of our website dedicated for cat facts. If you go to cat facts, you will see the button get random cat fact. And if you click on this, it's going to trigger a custom event called requested cat fact. So we will use that exact custom event, requested cat fact, to send this email. Let's go ahead and allow for re-eligibility for testing purposes. Let's send it to all users. So any user who clicks on that button can enjoy a random cat fact. Now we are actually ready to launch. Let's go ahead and launch that campaign. And now that this has been launched, and we're going to wait for a new email here. As soon as we click on this button, and then I'll pause for now and resume when the email arrives. Looks like our email has arrived. Our random cat fact of the day: lions are the only cats that live in groups called prides. Every female within the pride is usually related. Cool. So we got our email and that's successful. We have just made a successful connected content call through email. Now, what happens if we make an unsuccessful connected content call? What exactly happens to the email? Will it send? Will it just send blank? How do we know if it errors out? So let's actually take this URL. Let's say we made a mistake and we spelled fax and we put maybe fax with a Z at the end. Now we are attempting to make a call to a broken link, and that should not work. But let's go ahead and click done. Let's say we launched it. So now this email will send with a broken connected content call. And let's say someone requested a random cat fact from our website. So let's click on that. Let's wait to see what happens. I'll pause once again. Okay, so first I did get the email, even though the connected content call was broken. So I have a blank email. Not an ideal situation, but let's make sure that the connected content calls that we make are successful. But the email did come through, so that is one thing to note. Whenever that happens, one place you can check out is the message activity logs. If you go to settings, message activity log, you will see a log of all the issues and errors that happened in your messages on this page. That's why it's called the message activity log. There does seem to be a little bit of a delay with the logs coming in because we made this error at 2:07 p.m. and I'm still not seeing anything from 2:07 quite yet. So maybe they come in batches, or maybe I've been intentionally making too many errors. But the cool thing is if you expand this detail, it'll give you the message. So what exactly was the error? And it says we attempted to call an invalid URL. And this is actually from when I was having some issues earlier when I just had to reset. So I think there was a new space that got detected. Let's see if it was all came from there. And I think Braze does try to maybe reattempt a few times for invalid URLs. So that might be why we're seeing so many. And then the other cool part is it does tell you exactly which campaign it's coming from. So you click on that campaign ID, and it'll take you to the link of that campaign where the error came from, which is actually the error or the campaign that we were building together. So that was our exploration for today. Connected content call is just an API call coming from inside your messages. And even unsuccessful connected content calls will still go ahead and send the message, but they may be logged inside the message activity log for more details. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.